guys, so I'm going to talk about how I framed this Michigan sign here. I'm going to be working on the pumpkins, apples, hayride sign. I have already painted, already sealed it, so it's all ready to go. All I got to do is measure and cut these pieces, get them stained, and then attach it for the frame. This right here is the finished Michigan one. I mean, it's far from perfect. It's my first one, but I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. One thing that you have to remember when you're doing this, there's two different ways you can go about the frame. Hold on. Ooh, bear with me, I'm using my phone, so I'm trying to do this one-handed. Alright, so you need to make sure that when you measure these pieces, the parallel sides, top and bottom, are the same length. Like these, see how this one extends all the way out to here instead of stopping at the end of where the sign stops? And same with the top, but then these pieces are shorter. These are only the length of the actual sign, and this way they meet up like this in the corner, so you get that perfect frame look. So just remember that when you're sizing, or if you know how to do the angled cuts, you can do the angled cut like this, like you see on picture frames, so that the wood meets up perfectly like that. I don't know how to do that, so I go with this look. So this right here, this is one of my leftover pieces. This is the 1x2. A lot of people call them the furring strips. That's not what the tag said when I bought this particular piece. There were other ones that said that, but it's the same thing. The difference with this piece though is I have noticed a lot of them are pretty cheap, like under $1 for like 8 feet. But this piece was 6 feet long, I think it was. And this one was almost $3. But the reason that this one was so expensive is because this one is pre-finished. So this thing is super, super, super smooth. I will not have to do any sanding on it because it's already done. So I figured, hey, why not just go ahead and pay a couple, extra bucks and save myself the headache of all the sanding. So when you go to size this out, see if I can do this one-handed. Instead of measuring your wood and then going over to this and measuring and making a mark, I think it's better and easier to just set the wood flush against your sign and measure it that way. So like I said, my side pieces, I want it to be from the sign to the sign, or from the top to the bottom. So you would just go ahead and make a mark right here. We would make that cut. Once it's cut, this piece would be like this, attached to the side. And then when you go to measure this piece, well, actually, the smart thing to do is do your two side pieces first, or if you want the tops to be the shorter ones, measure those two, set them side by side. Then you'll want to go like this and measure the bottom piece, because this one's going to have to extend out on both sides to meet up with the piece that's right here on the side. Hope this makes sense. But I'm going to go grab the saw. I'll do some more measuring and cutting, and I'll show you guys how I do it. Hey guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it answers a whole bunch of your questions that you've had about framing signs. I just wanted to take a moment to talk about a couple things during my process of doing it. This is my first time framing signs. These are the only two I've ever done. Because I'm limited on tools, I had no choice but to use the circular saw. But I highly recommend using a miter saw or a table saw if you can get your hands on one, because they can make a perfect straight cut unlike a circular saw. So my pieces, I don't know if you can notice, I had a tiny little gap right in the corner on the pumpkin one, which is not awful. It's part of buying handmade, you know, it's got its characteristics. So I'm pretty pleased with it. But it will help make things perfectly even and flush and tight. So I highly recommend some saw that can make a straight cut. I also don't care for the corner clamps that I bought. I'm actually going to be investing in better clamps. I'm totally drawing a blank out what they're called, but the ones that go across all the way and you tighten and it pulls on both ends. I'm going to be buying those instead and see if I like the results better. So let me know if you have any questions. Just leave them below in the comments and make sure to subscribe for future tutorials. Thanks guys.